Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for a Chelsea news video. But before we get into the Chelsea news, we're going to go over two different things. The first one of those is that if you are not yet signed up for Ultimate Fan, it isn't too late to get involved for this Premier League game week. I'm partnered with Ultimate Fan throughout the entirety of this Premier League season, and every single week there is £8,500 to be won. It's fantasy football crosses with FIFA pack openings. This week I had a predominantly heavy Manchester theme in my packs. My base pack was full of United players, and I think my gold pack was full of Man City players. But I'm not going to make any changes to my side for this week. I got 51 points last week, which is in the top 7,000. Doesn't make me any money, but still, it was actually my best week so far on the game. So if you want to go and join, link is in the description. Anyway, last night, it wasn't good, was it? It was a real... There's a spider dangling from the camera. I don't really like spiders. This is an interesting start to the video. Chelsea were beaten 1-0 away at Juventus yesterday in the Champions League, putting us down into joint second place in the Champions League group. It wasn't a good performance. It wasn't a good result. Thomas Tuchel's post-match press conference, of course, in the 6 Things We Learnt video, you should go and check that out if you haven't already seen it. We don't get a chance to wait for the press conferences most of the time, but Thomas Tuchel was disappointed. He was asked quite a lot about the substitutions. It's very rare to see Thomas Tuchel make 3 substitutions at the same time. I mentioned that I thought that Timo Werner should have been one of those substitutions, but Ross Barkley almost, or if Lukaku would have been able to hit the target, would have got an assist when he came on. So I don't necessarily disagree with any of the substitutions that he did make. I just think maybe one of them should have been Timo Werner at this point. But the worrying thing for Chelsea is there has been a bit of a backlash as a result of this result last night in Turin. A lot of people are saying that this is the beginning of the dark times based off of the regular trajectory that is what happens at Chelsea Football Club. We get a manager that comes in after the merry-go-round, just sends another manager off. In the last case, it was Frank Lampard. Thomas Tuchel came in, wins the Champions League, everyone gets hyped, everyone gets excited, and then out of nowhere, it all seems to fall apart. Now, I think that this is a bit premature. We've lost to 2 of the best teams in Europe, Manchester City, Premier League champions. Juventus have been champions of Italy apart from last season on frequent occasions in recent years. They're a very good side, and we were away from home. So I do think, just simply saying, after these 2 defeats, that Chelsea are done. Tuchel's been found out. I think that kind of statement in its entirety is very bold and very premature. Yes, we've come undone playing against 2 very different systems, which is a little bit worrying, and it is my concern moving forward that teams are going to look at Chelsea and they're going to look at their own strengths and think, well, they're not very good when the press is super high. When we restrict their space for the wing-backs to get forward, they're also going to look at Juventus, what they did last night, which was sit incredibly deep, forcing Chelsea to just pass the ball around and then staying very rigid and firm with their defensive positioning. That's why Juventus won, and previously, it's why Manchester City won. The fact that Chelsea, in both of these matches, have severely struggled to create chances will give a lot of teams optimistic hope that when they come up against Chelsea in the next few weeks, maybe it's lucky that there is an international break coming up after the game against Southampton at the weekend. We get a little break, and I think at the moment, even though most of our players will be going out and playing whilst on international duty, I think Tuchel said it himself in his post-match interview yesterday that Chelsea look tired at this moment in time. We look as though we're a bit drained. A lot of our players did come back late. We've got 4 first-team players who you could certainly argue a place in the starting 11 for any of them. 4 key players out of the team. And the rotation that we might necessarily need to see isn't entirely possible at this moment in time due to injuries. Not that that's an excuse, but it is kind of something that when Chelsea do have their full-strength squad back, Mason Mount to come back, Reece James's recovery, Pulisic to finally be available to play, and Kante's recovery from COVID, then I think then is when we should judge this Thomas Tuchel Chelsea side. 2 defeats in a row isn't ideal, but I don't think it is yet the end of the world. Moving away from that defeat, I don't want to touch upon it again. You guys had a lot to say in the 6 Things We Learnt comments yesterday. Everyone was very unhappy. I was unhappy. And I just wanted to give a bit of extra perspective at the beginning of today's video. But we begin with some rumours surrounding 2 of the opponents last night who were absolutely fantastic for Juventus It has come out from Fabrizio Romano that Mattijs De Ligt has a release clause that can be activated next summer, but the problem with it is it's not like a release clause like an Erling Haaland, which is 60-70 million pounds, which is a bargain. It's 128 million pounds, which would, if Chelsea were to go out and spend that, significantly break the transfer records that we consistently keep on breaking every single season. Damn, that was a heavy sneeze. Massimo Allegri has come out and said that it is possible for Mattijs De Ligt to play in a back three, even though it's not something he does frequently at Juventus. I think the back three system at Chelsea, if things keep going the way it's going now, it might end up being adjusted. So I think Chelsea actually planning for the long-term future, maybe this current dip in form might actually change the way that we consider our business. There's another player we're going to talk about in a moment who has been touted as a player that can't really play in a double pivot. However, at this moment in time, if Chelsea's form continues to deteriorate, which of course we don't hope it does, but maybe the three at the back system isn't going to be something that we keep on seeing in the long run if Thomas Tuchel is in fact forced to change. De Ligt in a back two, fantastic. De Ligt to play in a back three would also be a very decent defender, but I said it in the last Chelsea news video before this one, if we are back linked in with Marquinhos again, I would like to see him come to Stamford Bridge. We move into Marina Granovskaia's demand to sign Chiesa. It was reported after last night. I think absolutely nobody can deny that Chiesa was the best, most explosive player on the field. I was going to talk about this in a bit more detail in today's video, and I actually think I probably will now that I'm sat here and talking about it. I didn't want to make all of this video about like Chelsea want to go out and spend loads of money on two players that just were involved in the opposing team who beat them just less than 24 hours ago. But the way that Chelsea are conducting business, the way that we're looking to build for the future, the money that was invested last summer, we're not here just to spend a bit today, play around for a season after winning the Champions League last year and then sit back into mediocrity. At least we hope that's not going to happen. And you can hear there's like a bit of a nervous edge in the way that I'm talking today because I'm a bit nervous, not going to lie. But Chiesa, I think he's a wonderful player. I think the fact that he is naturally more of a winger but can absolutely do the role going through the middle, I think considering just how great Chelsea's defence have been since Tuchel came in, we conceded 4 goals in the Champions League campaign last year. Chiesa plays up front for Juventus when both of their recognised attackers, Dybala and Alvaro Morata, are out of the team, and he tears Chelsea to shreds. There were multiple times where he was skinning multiple players down the left-hand side, and then the goal, he goes through the middle, he's expecting that ball over the top from Bonucci, and he scores with a thumping finish past Edouard Mendy. I think Chiesa is a phenomenal player. I thought it when I saw him at the Euros, watching him for Italy, and again last night, he was the best player on the pitch. So I think if Chelsea are interested in Chiesa, with all of the injuries and lack of progression with some of the other wide players at the club, I certainly would not begrudge Chelsea going in for Federico Chiesa, Juventus' main man. We move into another story regarding an 18-year-old who plays for Bayer Leverkusen. This isn't Kai Havertz from a couple of years ago, but he's being touted as a similar player and the next Kai Havertz. Florian Wirtz. He plays for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. He's 18 years old. He's been flirting with a move to Arsenal. Well, not necessarily flirting. The media have kind of been flirting the idea with us, the viewers, the readers, the watchers, whatever we are. Florian Wirtz is a very talented young player. And there are definitely good reasons why he's been compared to Kai Havertz, and Chelsea are one of the clubs potentially in the race. It's also being rumoured, no surprise, Bayern Munich, who'd have thought it, a decent German young player playing in the Bundesliga. Bayern would never be interested in that, would they? Surely bloody not. And Manchester United interested too. It is being said that at the moment, Florian Verts sees at least the next 2 years of his playing career at Bayer Leverkusen, as he believes in the project they have and for his development. As an 18-year-old making the next step up, it could well be a little bit too early. Good to see that a player knows that at this moment in time, the best thing for his career is playing regular football. Best of luck to him, and we'll see if in the next couple of years, Chelsea indeed make an approach. Now, the final story of the day is another little interview regarding Declan Rice. I think any time Declan Rice says any single word at this moment in time, he is going to be in the news regarding how it sounds, how it is heard about a potential move away from West Ham. There is absolutely no doubt, and David Moyes has said it himself in the interview before West Ham's game against Rapid Vienna tonight. David Moyes said that Declan Rice is one of, if not the best young midfielder in Europe. at this moment in time, which is a bold statement to make, but I'd say in his position, he's definitely up there as one of the very best. So the fact that Declan Rice has said that he's fully focused on West Ham, David Moyes was asked questions about the interest from United, City, Chelsea in the interview, saying, has it affected the attitude of Declan Rice and his playing and his training at West Ham? And of course, David Moyes says, absolutely not. No shocks here whatsoever, but what we need to understand with Declan Rice is, I think in his head, he knows a move to a Chelsea or a Man United or a City is something that is certainly on the cards for the trajectory and progression of his career. At the moment, he's very content at West Ham. West Ham are doing very well, and it's a very good place for him to be. All I will say though is don't take any of these reports that there's absolutely no way he's ever going to move. Don't take any of that for granted, or because of the price and the way he keeps progressing, that price might go up, so it might put clubs off again. Declan Rice, I believe, within the next 2 years, will leave West Ham. I sincerely hope that is to Chelsea. We shall wait and see. But anyway, disappointing night last night. I wanted to get another video out for you guys today, just give a bit more perspective on it, drop the news in for you as well, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Thank you for watching. See you all later.